to the March 2nd, 2023 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'll start with a roll call vote, so just for who's present and who's absent. William Scales.
William Scales, present.
Jeff Fleschauer, he is absent. Greg Caesar.
Present.
Lee Reeves.
Present.
And Jonathan Langley, I'm here also. So we'll start with the minutes. Consideration of approval of the February 2nd, 2023 meeting minutes. So everybody had time to take a look at those. If you guys
Motion
are,
to approve.
okay, motion for approval made by William. Is there a second? Second by Lee. All in favor say aye. Aye. I don't think anyone's opposed. If so, scream out loud. So, all right, so meeting minutes are approved. So next, it is our own, I guess, our lonely variance request tonight. It's a variance request. Announcements. I'm jumping over this. Staff, sorry.
That's all right. I have none, so you were great.
Okay. We got to come up with something. So, welcome, Blake. Here we go. So thank you for attending tonight. Welcome to the Board of Zoning Appeals. So now, after we've backtracked, we'll move forward. So item 2, a variance request to allow one 18-foot wide garage door for the property located at 1544 Fleetwood Drive. Staff?
Thank you and good evening. The subject property is located at 1544 Fleetwood Drive in a zoned PD planned district. The property is within the West Haven subdivision, which is vested under the 2018 zoning ordinance. The 2018 zoning ordinance states that street-facing garages must be at a maximum of 9 feet in width. The single-family detached home on this property has a 2-car garage that faces the street. The garage currently has 2 garage doors that are each 8 feet in width, and they are separated by roughly 2 feet of brick wall and a pillar. The applicant has stated that the current garage doors are barely wide enough to fit their car. The variance request is to allow one 18-foot wide garage door. Now I'll go into staff analysis. The BZA may authorize a variance only when the request has met all 3 criteria in accordance with the Franklin zoning ordinance and state law. The staff has completed an analysis of the request in light of these 3 criteria. Criteria 1. Where by reason of exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of a specific piece of property at the time of the enactment of the zoning ordinance, or by reason of exceptional topographic conditions or other extraordinary and exceptional situations or conditions, such a piece of property is not able to accommodate development as required under this ordinance. There are no exceptional conditions pertaining to the property itself that prevent development according to the zoning ordinance. However, it is a strange condition that the existing garage doors barely fit a standard midsize car. The applicant is unfortunately suffering the consequences of the garage doors being built too narrow for their car, but this situation is not imposed on the applicant because of an exceptional condition of the property itself. Because of this, staff finds that the criteria is not met. Criteria 2. The strict application of any provision enacted under the zoning ordinance would result in peculiar and exceptional practical difficulties to, or exceptional or undue hardship upon, the owner of the property. The application of the zoning ordinance does not result in any undue hardship upon the owner of the property in this situation. The zoning ordinance allows street-facing garages to be a maximum of 9 feet in width. The applicant is restricted by the 8-foot wide garage doors that were originally built, not the regulations of the zoning ordinance. There is no condition of the property that prevents compliance with the zoning ordinance. Therefore, staff finds that this criteria is not met. Criteria 3. Such relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without substantially impairing the purpose and intent of the zoning ordinance. Staff finds that this proposed change to the garage would not be a detriment to the public good, but it may impair the intent of the zoning ordinance. The intent of the zoning ordinance in this case is to ensure that street-facing garages blend with the dwelling and reduce garage-dominated views from the street, which can be found in the 2018 Franklin zoning ordinance, section 5.3.5. In the proposed 18-foot wide garage door, If the proposed 18-foot wide garage door could be designed in a way that gives the appearance of 2 doors and helps it blend with the house, it could come closer to meeting the intent of the zoning ordinance. The applicant submitted an example of what that might look like for reference. If this condition could be met, staff finds that this criteria is met. Recommended motion. Staff recommends that the Board of Zoning Appeals move to deny the variance request to allow one 18-foot wide garage door for the property located at 1544 Fleetwood Drive. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, staff. Is the applicant present for this item? If you could step forward for us and state your name for the record and add any additional information for us, that would be great.
I've submitted pictures. Have you got those?
We do. We have all the pictures submitted with the packets.
Okay, good. I first made an application to the HOA, and they told me that they were not interested in speaking to me about it because the ordinance was from the city of Franklin. And so I had to concern myself with this, with you all. I can give you exactly what they said. They said to me, the DRC abides by the rules and regulations of the city of Franklin. Should you have any further questions regarding this, please reach out to them for clarification. So the ball is in your court.
Okay. Any additional comments for
Not
us?
really. I'm just hoping that we can do it.
All right. So if there's nothing else, we'll move on to the public comment. Are there any citizen comments on this item? All right. Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public comment? Motion made by Greg. Is there a second? Second. Second by Lee. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Public comments closed. I'll ask staff this question. So I know West Haven has design guidelines approved as part of the PUD. I think at some point in the past, possibly. Does that impact our analysis at all, or what's before us tonight?
They do have a pattern book, but I don't believe we found anything in there specific to garage doors.
Okay,
So in that case, the zoning ordinance applies.
perfect. Any additional questions from the board?
I do have one question on, I'm not sure what this article is, or what this piece of, this example document is titled, but it's the one that shows the plot of the house as it's laid out. All I see is a bunch of letters, FB 3751BD. It is that, yes. Can you tell me on the side yard setback on the garage side is which of those represents the side yard and which represents the side yard setback boundary? Is the dash that is closest to the letter R at the top, is that the side yard setback?
No, the side door is,
I'm talking about the setback requirement for the property on the ground, not the
This
door.
document didn't label those dashes.
Okay.
What was the setback that was, we looked it up?
The side yard setback is 3.5 feet.
Okay. Given that, would we suspect that one of those lines represents the side yard setback? Or can we assume that? It's hard to assume. I know I'm asking
I
you
don't
guys to
know,
interpolate.
because what I'm looking at here, the setback requirements were 3.5 feet on the side, but it did say that it had to have a 10 feet separation between buildings. So I don't know if the 3.5 is here and the 6.5 is there. Just looking at the width of a door, which is about 3 feet, this looks bigger than 3 feet. You know what I mean? But this looks about 3 feet. So I'm only speculating now.
Sure,
Because it's not labeled.
Okay, well, thank you for that interpretation. Or,
Okay, any additional questions at all? I know I have some discussion, others may as well. If we can get a motion on the floor, we can probably discuss the item. Is there a motion on this item?
I'd present a motion to approve the variance because of the narrowness and shallowness of the property relative to the structure that is there, and that strict application of the provision would result in peculiar and exceptional practical difficulties for the owner. And I believe we can do so, given some of the architectural drawings that you've put forward, without substantial detriment to the public good, with one exception and one caveat, is that that center pillar must remain in place to advance the appearance of two garage doors.
Okay, motion made, kind of with conditions, I'll call it. I'll ask a question there. So is there a second? We'll go ahead and get a second.
Second for purpose of discussion.
Okay. So got a motion and a second for approval with conditions. You can go ahead. Did you have a comment, William?
First one.
So my thought is, I'm not sure the center pillar, so staff had added comments about, I guess, the design to make it appear as two. The center pillar, I'm not sure how that piece works, if he's got to keep it in place, because I think it'll fix the width on it. I think that's pretty much a denial, is my comment. Maybe that's possible, but.
Can you help me understand what you mean by fixed
Yes,
width?
in the picture on the screen, that center pillar, like, so you're saying by your motion that that center pillar, including brick, would need to remain as is.
Yeah, there needs to be something to break up the single door.
Yeah, because I think if that pillar remains there, it'll still be.
You're still
8
8 feet, yeah.
Yep.
Greg, I had the same question when I was looking at it.
Well, what you would gain is you would at least gain, 3 or 4 inches on either side, perhaps, and you could potentially extend on the sides. I think my concern here is moving from 2 individual garage doors that breaks up, and as you're driving down the street, it looks like 2 carriages, to one big flat white door is,
Would it help if I painted a black stripe down the center of the door?
I don't know that sorry.
Well, I was just going to chime in. I didn't realize this was not far from where I live, and so I stopped by or drove by on the way here. And it looked to me like all the other houses on the street have the exact same configuration. At least 2 houses to the left and 2 houses to the right, and the house across the street are all, I think, the same dimensions. And so I was kind of curious, because the door's 8 feet, and I think the photo of the car, yeah, that one, makes it look like the car actually isn't going to even fit in. But I looked up the dimensions I was curious, of a Lexus RX 350, and it came out to 6 1/4 feet wide. So while it's tight, I don't think they would have an issue getting the car in. So I guess there's 2 points to just add to the discussion. So.
Okay, any more discussion on the motion?
I share Greg's line of thinking concerns, of course, I don't know what to call it, but somehow maintain that pillar but give extra space. And I don't know if there's a way to have you go away and come back with a proposal that maintains that center pillar but gives you additional space. I don't know what the mechanism is to accomplish that.
I would just say in support of my motion, I think the idea of a single garage facade does impair the intent of the ordinance. And for that reason, I think trying to accommodate the ask or the desire of the neighbor while maintaining the intent of the ordinance is for some formal
Something.
division to happen between the 2 doors. And so for that reason, I think it makes sense to maintain something there. I think, so maybe we should vote on the motion and see if.
Yes, I'll add to that. I support your motion, so my question wasn't really kind of in opposition to that. It's more, I think there is a way to keep that pillar, so it's tight there, but you could open that up past that point. My guess is door openings past that point, that's the real struggle. So I support the motion on that piece. I've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion before we take a vote?
Can I say one thing?
We're already kind of in deliberation, so
Oh,
unfortunately.
I'm sorry.
we've
Okay, I'll sit down.
Close the public comment. Appreciate it, though. So Greg made a motion for approval with conditions that we keep the center pillar I think that was kind of the summary. Is that right, Greg?
Yeah, and maybe I should clarify that it doesn't have to be this exact, and maybe, so should I restate the motion or amend the motion?
You probably have to vote on yours.
So I don't, I was trying to type as you were speaking. It sounded like your motion was to approve the variance with the condition that the pillar must remain in place. Is that how you want the language to be?
That is what I originally motioned.
Okay.
Okay, so motion second by William. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so it is 3-1. Motion is approved with that condition, that the pillar remain. So next, that is our only item tonight. So motion to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
A motion made by William. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Lee. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I don't think anybody's opposed to that one either, so everyone have a great night.